In this episode, we get the conclusion to the epic Roa versus Yuga duel, and it is pretty neat. Hey, my name is Rex, and let's go ahead and discuss episode 13 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. Now, it was a pretty interesting episode. Of course, it does pick up where the last one left off, where Yuga was in a pretty tight spot. He was accused of using an illegal card, Sevens Road Magician, and he had just drawn it, so he was about to get eliminated. But in this episode, that picks up exactly where that ended, and before anybody's able to say anything, the relic just pops up from the ground out of nowhere, and the Jurassic Club shows up. So kind of interesting too that like this is the moment where everybody from all the past episodes are showing up all together, and they actually were helping out Yuga, and they discovered that the symbols that were on the ground from where the relic used to be all lined up and produced a symbol for the venue that the concert they're at is currently at. So interesting that symbols are left behind as hints to where it's going to be next. And, that'll be interesting, apparently, if it, with it moving so often. At the same time, the newspaper club also comes back, and they have a recording of the of what's going on. And so now it's all revealed that Sevens Road Magician is a legal card, basically, through some video of the actual tournament that the Phantom Duelist was actually disqualified because he worked for Goha, and not because he was using an illegal card. And at the same time, the Phantom Duelist shows up as well, and he introduces himself. He actually gives a name this time. So now we got a name to call him by. His name is Otis. And so that is kind of interesting. And too, I guess that makes a little sense because he's got the helmet, I guess, that resembles all the Goha employees as well. And that does make a lot of sense how he kind of had a backdoor in the first place for Yuga to be able to duel him and then install his rush duels into the system, basically. So it is really interesting now that Otis, again, is revealed to be part of Goha. And so everything kind of clicks into place, except for, just who exactly Otis is. But he does kind of talk and give some a little more information, I guess, just kind of flashing back as well to the tournament and mentioning how, yeah, he chose Yuga because Yuga kind of so that Yuga could carry things on, and he kind of compliments him too. He's saying, you created such wonderful rush duels as well, and so that's kind of a neat thing to see. But also, though, through the video of the tournament, we do see that Roa was there as well, and then Roa goes on about that, and it's interesting too because even in the last episode, even in Yuga's flashback of the tournament where he did end up getting Sevens Road Magician, if you look very carefully, you could see Roa, like that green hair is kind of hard to miss, but it wasn't exactly like overtly stated that was him, but you could kind of tell it was. And I did mention it in a video, but in the comments I was kind of talking about that, and I had figured that he would probably be jealous of Yuga as he witnessed the whole thing, and that does end up being the case. So that is also neat because then we get even more connection, and Roa just kind of goes on about how if it were him, he would have been the one to, I guess, potentially be the king of duels. He would have been the one to carve his road, to make his mark, all of that stuff. But it was Yuga who ended up getting the Sevens Road Magician. And he is jealous, and so that's kind of interesting. But then their duel kind of continues because Yuga kind of says something along the lines of, you still do have the right to potentially be the king of duels or whatever. This vague kind of title that's been thrown around that, Yuga himself hasn't really shown any interest in becoming king of duels or anything. And Roa is kind of inspired as well because Yuga also says something along the lines of, you were already carving your own road. You were already following your own road by him becoming, famous, basically, by him working toward everything with his band and getting to the point where he's at. Because he wasn't chosen by Otis, he had to carve his own road. He had to make his own road, which, is basically what Yuga is doing. Even though Yuga was, basically given this card and inspired further, he still did end up have to make his own road for himself. Again, him being very inventive, and again being the one to actually come back and duel Otis in in episode 1 and upload his rush duels to Goha's everything, the duel discs. And so that's kind of interesting. So their duel continues as a pretty good duel. Because now, everybody's kind of, I guess, a little more serious. Everything's resolved again with Sevens Road Magician. It is a legal card. And on top of that, it is actually an archetype created by Otis because Otis was an employee of Goha. We don't know what happened exactly, why he's not there, but now everything makes a little more sense. But yes, he did technically make Seven's Road Magician himself, but he was an employee, so it was a legal card. Everything's resolved, and there's information on there's information on Seven's Road Magician, and it was actually due to Roa's meddling to try and frame Yuga, which I guess made a little more sense. Which that's why there was this whole trap set up. So pretty interesting how all of that kind of resolves. So now the duel can get going, and Yuga, now that he actually has Seven's Road Magician in his hand, he does summon Seven's Road Witch first, to then summon Magician, and he's doing pretty well. But then Roa gets serious on his turn, bringing in all his big monsters, and even bringing out his ace as well, which I think was like Royal Demon's Heavy Metal, I think it was, and it was a pretty intimidating monster, and he has a lot of effects also that lower the attack of Yuga's monsters, so then he's able to also attack over them and destroy them. So on Yuga's turn, he brings out a brand new Seven's Road monster, Seven's Road Mage, which is able to basically win him the duel. Of course, he brings back Seven's Road Magician through another monster's effect, and then Seven's Road Mage is able to then lower his opponent's monster's attack based on how many spellcasters there are, if he has Seven's Road Magician. So kind of an interesting effect. Again, these effects are like kind of small time in terms of all Yu-Gi-Oh, but for rush duels, they're perfect. They work out just fine. So now we've got more Seven's Road monsters, and basically, a whole Seven's Road archetype. And, it is kind of interesting because they all also look back at Otis, who, again, did create all the Seven's Road monsters. But he says something like, I only gave Yuga Seven's Road Magician, but it's the job of a good duelist, or it's a sign of a good duelist to then get even more powerful cards. And so that is kind of neat, though, because, that's basically, well, maybe not necessarily the first card that Yuga got, but it was given to him by someone, and who inspired him to create rush duels, to start making his own roads. And so it makes more sense that he would end up getting more Seven's Road monsters along the way to add to his deck. So that'll be interesting to see how else that works out, what other Seven's Road monsters we'll see. But for now, we got 3, so that's pretty interesting. And Yuga's, of course, able to win the duel, and he keeps the opportunity to become King of Duels, and it's at this point that he kind of says something like, I wasn't really interested in it before, but it sounds kind of neat now. So now I guess Yuga's kind of taking a little more of a stand, because before he really just wanted to make his own path. He wanted rush duels, and he wanted everyone to have fun in rush duels, and that was really his only goal before that. And anything else just kind of like slid off his back. He was just like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. Okay, yeah, I know. I knew Roman was a spy. Oh yeah, cool. Roa, this and that. Yeah, you can have rush duels. But now it's kind of interesting to see him get, I guess, a little more serious about things. Well, maybe not like serious about things, but to decide that for himself. And so now that the duel's over, Goha shows up and they want to take the relic, but then it disappears. So Otis lives to see another day, but that kind of is interesting because, we know a little more about Otis now, but we still know nothing about Goha himself, the president of Goha. But I'm guessing there's probably some sort of, bad blood between the two. Otis being kind of a free spirit, someone who thinks a lot like Yuga in the sense that, he wants things to be different. He doesn't want things to be as rigid. And on top of that, left a way through a back door for Yuga to eventually install rush duels. Probably with him leaving Goha. So that's interesting to see how all that's going to work out. But for the most part, that's the episode. It is a really good one. I think it's, a good conclusion. I think last episode was a little more, enjoyable just with how insane things got and how crazy things got because, I was genuinely shocked with the accusation of Seven's Road Magician being a fake card. But now with everything resolved, it is pretty neat. But now we've still got a few more questions. And from this point, things are really looking up for the series because now, things are in place. Even though Roa wasn't evil, he was a good, fine rival, and I think that works out. It's also funny, though, at the end of the duel, Gakuto says something along the lines of, yeah, you beat Roa, and now Roman can go free. And Roman's like, I was always free. So, more just playing on that. Things don't seem to be as serious as some characters treat things, or as some other characters might expect things to be. So, and that's where a lot of the comedy comes in. But I'm really interested to see how things will build up going forward. And of course, they also find out Roman's secret, the secret that Roa was holding over her, and it's that she's tone deaf. And it's actually kind of interesting. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything had predicted that was probably her secret, that she was tone deaf. Hence why, she plays the guitar but doesn't sing. So interesting there. It was nothing really too big. And of course, Yuga, as always, just picks up on everything, and he knew Roman's secret before Gakuto and Luke could even grill her on it, or get her to confess it. So yeah, a good solid arc. Again, 4 episodes. So that was really great to see. So I'm really excited to see how things will be going forward for the series. But let me know what you think about this episode. Did you like it? What would you like to see going forward? What are your predictions overall? And what is up with Goha and Otis? Something's going on there. But yeah, leave a comment below. We'll continue the discussion down there. If you enjoyed the content, remember to leave a like and subscribe to show your support. You can enable notifications by clicking that bell icon next to the subscribe button. This will make sure you see each new video as it comes out. Anyway, this has been Rex. Have a nice day.